Right, Looksmaxxing. I'm sure you've probably at least heard that word in the last year or two, if not know exactly what it is. But you just search it up and you'll see people putting hammers to their faces, rubbing themselves in strange ways and doing other practices that men don't normally do. So that's why some people just think it's mad. But it's called Looksmaxxing, so people are just trying to maximize how good they look. And I don't think there's anything really wrong with it like people think. Look at all the practices that females have done for not just centuries, but millennia to make themselves look more beautiful. And all the stuff that people do with botox, plastic surgery, and the list probably goes on and on and on. So in the modern era, I can't see anything wrong with individuals wanting to make themselves look better, even if they want to put a hammer to their own face to do it. I'll never do it, but you carry on, lad. And this maxing has become a modern term, but you could just apply it to anything. Like take me, for example. Right now, I'm Cowboy Space Ape maxing. And oh yeah, I'm gonna Space Ape mog you. So anyway, let's have a look at these practices and see if they are actually harmless or not. Wait there, wait there. You got a fly on your cheek. You got a fly. I got it. All right, hunterizes a process. See, stuff like this, I don't even know if it has that much effect, because surely it's just like the same as massaging. And I saw this picture flash, but wow, it's on Mogged. He's actually got a Mog score. Have they got an app like that for women as well? Because it looks like that when they do the duck lip pose, it's almost the same sort of thing. Like, look at this. Female duck lip pose, male mogging. Female duck lip pose, male mogging. And I know you're showing this picture, but, you know, surely you can make a pose like this by even just, like, sucking your cheeks in a little bit. Obviously, you can pose your lips because you can work your muscles in your face. And you can control how open and closed your eyes are. So, you know, you could kind of just make this pose how you want to. But regardless, this guy's got a good bone structure and everything like that, so he looks like he's probably a good-looking chap. I can't really tell. It's much easier to tell when someone's, like, butt ugly. All right, let's watch this guy give an exercise routine.
This exact routine sharpened my face, widened my smile, improved my sleep apnea, and fixed my facial asymmetry.
Did it do that, or did just losing a little bit of weight, eating healthier, and exercising do that?
Start by standing up against a wall and tucking your chin directly to your neck. Then place your thumbs on the back part of the hard palate, not the soft palate. Then with 8 out of 10 pressure, massage from the back to the front. This will release the palatal fascia and begin to decompress sutures and lead perfectly into the second movement.
What? Okay, I can confidently say I haven't seen that technique before. So what did he say it's supposed to do?
Then with 8 out of 10 pressure, massage from the back to the front. This will release the palatal fascia and begin to decompress sutures.
Right, so he's trying to claim that it does actually have like an external effect somewhere around, well, you're massaging under there, so I'm assuming around here somewhere. Okay.
Begin to decompress sutures and lead perfectly into the second movement, which is taking a gua sha and swiping from the bottom to the top of the neck on each side to counter the downward pull from the platysma muscle and improve neck posture.
Like massaging is very therapeutic and very good for your muscles and stress, etc. So it probably does have a bit of an effect.
And swiping from the bottom to the top of the neck on each side to counter the downward pull from the platysma muscle and improve neck posture.
See, to be able to prove that actual exercises like that work, then you've got to actually show a before and after when you've actually been just as fit and healthy as you were before you started doing it. Because this picture at the top might have been like a year or two earlier when you had more weight before you started exercising and eating healthily. And so without doing any of the scraping and all these other strange exercises, literally if you just did regular exercise and ate healthier, then I imagine that this body fat sort of drop would give this sort of drastic effect. And then he's clearly doing like that sucking in technique where people put, is it the tongue to your top of your mouth or something, where it tightens up this area and gives this more of definement. Definement makes this area more defined.
And here is where it gets important. Place your thumbs firmly in the middle of your cheeks and then slowly open your mouth through a couple full ranges of motion to release tension from overactivated muscles. And most importantly, finish off by placing your thumbs in the middle part of your palate, tucking your chin, and then pushing up and out. Do this for a few minutes to finish off the routine, and don't forget to perform this multiple times a day. Health is looks.
Health isn't exactly looks. Yeah, there's certain indications on the outside of the body that can say that there might be issues going on the inside of the body. But there's a lot of people in the world who look like they've got absolutely nothing wrong with them and they're beautiful, look after themselves, etc. But they might literally be dying inside. So that's not exactly an accurate statement. Right, let's look at some of these client transformations. So you've got this girl at the top. A little bit hard to compare in some ways just because you can't see the back of the neck. So you can't actually see like how much sort of fat loss there's been there. But just by the sheer distance between her neck and the end of her chin on each picture, you you can tell that she was pushing her head forwards more on this shot on the after and pulling her head back more on this shot. And then she's probably doing a maxing pose and doing some cheek sucking in or something like that. Plus she's a lot more evenly lit in this picture and more directly lit in this picture, as you can see, because of the harsh lighting. So this is giving more definition to her contours in her face, which you can't see in this one because of the even lighting. And this one doesn't really show that much to me. Like, for example, the left photo, the before photo, her cheeks actually look thinner. Like, her mouth actually looks like it's doing more of a mogging pose. But she doesn't look as happy in the eyes, and the eyes are a little bit more squinted, and she doesn't have her hair done neatly. Whereas this one, the lighting is good, she looks happy, she's got makeup on, she's smiling, her hair's done nice, her eyes are wider open because she actually looks happier. I've seen people look far more drastic than this just by applying makeup and being in a different mood. Obviously this bottom one looks very extreme, but obviously in that picture I think he looks a good couple or a few years at least younger than in that photo. And if this is really his jawline and it goes back that far, then flipping heck, he had a lot of little sort of like puppy fat around the neck. So I just think these aren't very good side-by-side examples. Alright, let's check out Clavicula's Looksmax routine.
So let's do some of the Looksmaxes that are sus.
Do you say some of the Looksmaxes are sus?
You know what I'm saying? Some of the Looksmaxes that are sus. We'll get the
Yeah.
eyelash curler.
They're sus. The eyelash curler.
You know what I'm saying? Fraud that positive canthal tilt.
What the heck is the canthal tilt? Oh, it's literally like the tilt of your eye. Oh, okay. I didn't think you had any control over that whatsoever. Maybe you don't.
Alright, so here is what's called a waterline pen.
So eyeliner.
And the idea with this is to create contrast
Like eyeliner.
between your sclera and your lower eyelids.
What? Sclera? So yeah, the sclera is just like the white part of your eye by the looks of it. So obviously you've got your pupil, your cornea, and then the limbus. I didn't realise this was called the limbus, where your cornea meets the white of the eye, or the sclera. Mad, we're learning something.
Boom.
Boom.
Okay. And, you know, that's a very subtle thing. You don't go too hard. Like, you wouldn't be able to know that I did it unless I showed you on the live stream. So call it sus, call it whatever, but we're Looksmaxxing.
So it's basically a very, very light application of eyeliner.
So now these eye drops, boys, are quite literally the biggest Looksmax that you could do, because you're creating a contrast between your eye color, your skin tone, and your eyelashes mainly, by having a whiter sclera.
I guess it depends on how white the sclera of your eyes actually is. But so many people have like a lot more veins or cloudy bits in their eyes, or some people's eyes just almost look bloodshot all the time. So I imagine the clearer eye drops would have a much bigger effect on those people. Whereas if you've got very white sclera anyway, then it's not going to have that much of an effect. But I guess even all small effects build up to make a greater effect. And at the end of the day, that is what he's going for. But I guess that is kind of just the point of Looksmaxxing. It's a completely individual based thing. It's not just a blanket thing you can give to everybody. Like, he's just looking at himself in the mirror and thinking, oh, what can I contrast, or what can I bring out a little bit more to make myself look better? Literally, for most people, it's just going to be diet and exercise. And a positive outlook on life always helps as well.
The hair we've been having to hold back with the glasses. Waiting to get a haircut again, but for now, it is what it is.
And none of his routine was extreme at all. I think he's one of the bigger names in the space, as I've heard that name before, Clavicula. But he didn't do any weird stuff like hammering or stretching weird places in this video, so I think he appears quite tame with it. Damn, this was at 307,000 likes. What? Right, so before Looksmaxxing. Oh, he looks like he's quite different ages on a lot of these photos. Now that is a big change, fair play. I wonder how old he is there then compared to these pictures. Because he looks quite different ages, like that one he looks very young. And again, for the most part, just diet and exercise. All these other little extra bits that you do, and then the way that you learn to suck in bits of your face, etc. to like pose for a mog. That is literally just like the last 2% of Looksmaxxing. To get yourself probably like 95 to 98% the way there, it's literally just diet and exercise. So look at that difference from him to there. Obviously I don't know how long this picture was before him now, but the other thing you've got to remember is that people grow up and change a lot through their teenage years because of puberty. Like, I can think of plenty of people who I went to school with who I can remember seeing when I was about, I don't know, 12 to 15, and then by the time they were like 18 to 20, they look completely different. Completely different heights, different builds, different looks, different styles. And unless you had a proper conversation with them and then heard their voice and realised it was their face, if you were just passing them on the street, you wouldn't even know they're the same people. So I don't know how old this kid is, but I'm going to guess about 19, 20, something like that. And then I bet in this photo he was like 15 or 16 or something. And I don't know, in that photo he is sat in a car, but he looks even younger than the first photo.
If you want this,
Booties.
He does have quite a chiseled jaw. Oh, it's like a device to actually exercise your mouth muscles. Or your jaw muscles. And I can imagine that would have an effect, because essentially you're just exercising muscles over and over. To even get into Looksmaxxing, you have to be quite a vain person in the first place, because you have to actually care about what people think of your appearance. And lots of people just don't really care about their appearance in that way. And it's not all looks anyway, there's so much that goes into personality. How many totally butt-ugly fat dudes have you seen with quite a hot girl around his arm, and you're like, how the hell did he get her? Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's personality. There's other variables that go into it, etc. as well. And when you're looking to get into a relationship, especially a serious one long term, it's much better to fall in love with someone's personality than their looks. And yeah, looks and attraction are a big priority at the beginning of a relationship, but after a few months, once you've completely got used to each other, personality takes over. What's this, an anti-aging Looksmaxer? Oh damn, he can suck his thing up quite a bit.
Huh?
What kind of face is that? It looks like something's about to explode out of some part of your body.
Brother, It's called Looksmaxing.
Looksmaxing is a form of excellence.
Looksmaxing is self-improvement.
It's dangerous, and it makes no sense.
I think that there is a real dark undercurrent. What it leads to is self-destruction.
See, now with people who take it to the extreme, like with things like bone smashing, you can imagine there's got to be a little bit of effect. You just got to be very careful doing that, because just too hard and you could fracture or break a bone. But just like with any repetitive exercise or repetitive anything, then I imagine it's going to have some build-in. Like if you target the areas of your jaw that you actually want to be like the corners, you know, and you keep on doing that, surely there's going to be some sort of growth or healing that happens there that actually makes it come out a little bit more physically. But I would not recommend it. Stay away if you want my recommendation, and just stick to the more cosmetic stuff. But at the end of the day, if you want to be healthier and look better, then most of it is going to come down to diet and exercise. It's as simple as that. And like most people who are actually really fit and healthy and look after themselves without having to do any of this weird bone smashing or stretching stuff are actually happy in their bodies and their looks. But still, this bone smashing thing is just nuts.
Young men beating themselves up
Bone smashing.
to be beautiful.
But you've also got to flip the coin and just think what women have been doing for hundreds of years or millennia, because they're kind of the beholders of beauty. You know, men aren't naturally thought of as beautiful, whereas women mostly are. So this is just the result of some vain people trying to take that power into their own hands and bring it over to the other gender. And you know, in a modern society, we're not hunter-gatherers, we don't need to worry about day-to-day survival, etc. And especially with social media, how you look has become such a big thing to people that I can't really see much of a problem with this. If people want to try doing some little things to make themselves look better, go for it. And if it makes them feel more comfortable in their own bodies and more achieved, then go for it. And if it makes them feel more respected and attractive, go for it. But I don't have that kind of self-vanity, so I'd never consider doing anything like that. See, I think some of these examples are really disingenuous. Like, just look at those two side by sides, one after another. Like, he looks like, what, a 25-year-old man or something there? And in the before photo, he looks like a 14-year-old schoolboy who hasn't got into exercising and eating healthily yet, so he's a little bit chubby. And then the same with that photo. Look at that. He literally looks about 10 years age difference. It's more likely that most of these extreme Looksmaxers were born with pretty good bone structures, etc. anyway, and then as they come out of their teenage years, as they start exercising, eating healthier, caring more about their looks, then they lose their fat, tone up, and then realise their bone structure. Any of this bone smashing and stretching has got to have such a minuscule effect, and it's just all vain people. Like, I could never take a picture like that. I find this cringe anyway, but if I tried doing just a pose like that, I think I'd be like 3 times as cringe as that. But it's because I couldn't take it seriously, because I'm not that vain.
This is gonna be the ultimate guide for anyone who wants a fucking jawline. First thing you gotta start doing is mewing, and you can do this all day.
The world is just a mad place, and there's so many people interacting that there's going to be little pockets of crazy little things like this coming up all the time. There has been now for like 15, 20 years or more. Right, that'll just about do it for this video anyway, so thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.